Love, laughter, and the gentle cry of a newborn, that's how the story of Quang, Linda, and baby Sophia begins. From the sweet morning of decorating their home with ribbons and balloons, to the tender moments of holding their daughter close, and finally the heartwarming celebration surrounded by family and friends. Their journey is a portrait of pure happiness and love. In a world full of chaos, their little home shines with peace and warmth. Stay until the end to feel every heartbeat of this beautiful family story. And don't forget to subscribe for more touching moments like this. The soft sunlight of an early Sunday morning streamed through the curtains, painting the living room in shades of gold. The house was alive with a gentle warmth, the kind that only comes from love and laughter. Quang stood on a wooden stool, carefully looping pink ribbons across the ceiling, while Linda sat on the carpet below, surrounded by pastel boxes, wrapping gifts one by one for the guests who would soon come to celebrate baby Sophia's first month of life. "Careful, Quang," she teased, glancing up with a smile. "If you fall, we'll have to celebrate this party in the hospital instead." He looked down, pretending to scowl. "If I fall, it's only because my wife keeps distracting me with that smile." Linda laughed, the kind of laughter that filled the room with music. For a moment, she forgot the sleepless nights, the endless diaper changes, and the quiet worries that had followed her since giving birth. Today wasn't about exhaustion or the chaos of new parenthood. It was about celebration, about the tiny heartbeat that had changed their world forever. On the couch, little Sophia slept peacefully, wrapped in a soft pink blanket. Her tiny hands twitched now and then, as if she were dreaming of butterflies. Quang glanced at her every few seconds, his expression softening with every look. "She has your lips," he murmured, climbing down from the stool to stand beside Linda, "and your stubborn chin." Linda tilted her head, pretending to be offended. "Stubborn? That's from you, Mr. Quang." He chuckled, pulling her gently into his arms. "Maybe, but if she grows up with your heart, she'll be perfect." They stood like that for a moment, just two people, holding each other, surrounded by ribbons, balloons, and the scent of fresh flowers. It wasn't a grand moment, but it was everything. Love didn't always need fireworks. Sometimes it was just the quiet joy of folding tiny coats together or arguing over which shade of pink looked better for the banner. The morning passed in laughter and soft music. Linda tried on a flower crown she'd made for Sophia and turned to Quang. "Do you think she'll like it?" He smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her cheek. "She'll love it because her mother made it with love." Linda's heart swelled. She looked around the room, the balloons, the decorations, the little crib in the corner, and realized this was more than just a celebration. It was the beginning of their story as a family. Outside, the sunlight danced across the windows as if blessing their little home. Quang lifted the last ribbon and tied it firmly, stepping back to admire their work. Then he reached for Linda's hand, giving it a light squeeze. "Ready?" he asked softly. "For the party?" He shook his head with a grin. "For everything that comes after." By the time the clock touched noon, the house had transformed into a soft paradise of pink and white. The ribbons swayed gently from the ceiling, catching the sunlight that poured through the window, while the faint scent of vanilla cake lingered in the air. Linda stood by the crib, adjusting the frilly little dress she had chosen for baby Sophia, a tiny gown of lace and satin that shimmered like morning dew. Quang walked up behind her, his arms slipping around her waist as he rested his chin on her shoulder. "She looks like a dream," he whispered, gazing at the sleeping baby. Linda smiled faintly. "Our dream," she replied. "Everything I ever prayed for, right here in this room." Sophia stirred, letting out a soft coo, her little fingers curling instinctively around Quang's. He lifted her carefully into his arms, holding her close to his chest. The warmth of her tiny body pressed against him sent a wave of emotion through his heart. He had held her countless times before, but somehow, today felt different, heavier with meaning. "Can you believe," he said softly, "that a month ago, she was still just a heartbeat we only heard through a monitor, and now she's here, smiling in her sleep?" Linda turned toward him, her eyes glistening. "Sometimes I still wake up just to make sure she's real," she admitted, her voice trembling with joy. "There were nights I sat by her crib, afraid to close my eyes, afraid she'd need me and I wouldn't be there." Quang looked at her, the faint tiredness in her eyes, the quiet strength in her smile, and his heart tightened with love. "You've done so much, Linda," he said gently, "more than I could ever thank you for." She chuckled softly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "We both did. You were there for every late night feeding, every diaper disaster, every little cry." He grinned, "Except when you chased me out of the kitchen for burning the baby's milk." Linda laughed again, the sound bright and alive, echoing through the living room. Sophia stirred, blinking open her tiny eyes, as if curious about the joy that surrounded her. Quang bent down, kissing her forehead. "Happy 1 month, my little star," he whispered. Linda reached out, her fingers brushing both their cheeks. "She's lucky," she said softly, "to have a father who loves her this much." Quang met her gaze, his voice tender. "No," he said, shaking his head. "We're the lucky ones because she chose us." The baby let out a tiny sigh, and the world seemed to hold its breath. Outside, the afternoon sun painted their faces in gold, and for a fleeting moment, time felt suspended. Just a family of 3, wrapped in quiet perfection. Linda leaned her head against Quang's shoulder, her heart overflowing with gratitude. "Promise me," she murmured, "that no matter how hard life gets, we'll always have moments like this." By late afternoon, the once quiet home of Quang and Linda had blossomed into a warm haven of laughter and joy. The soft hum of conversation filled the air, mingling with the faint melody of a piano instrumental playing in the background. Family members moved in and out of the kitchen, their arms full of flowers, gifts, and trays of food. The aroma of roasted chicken and freshly baked pastries lingered, wrapping the entire house in the scent of celebration. Linda stood by the window, her eyes following the guests arriving one by one. Close friends, relatives, even the elderly neighbors who had seen her grow from a little girl to a loving mother. She smoothed her dress nervously, adjusting the ribbon on her wrist. Quang appeared beside her, placing a reassuring hand on her back. "Everything's perfect," he said softly. "You're perfect." She turned to him with a tender smile. "I just want everything to be special for Sophia," she whispered. "Her first celebration, our first as parents." From the crib, a small cry rose, a gentle reminder that the true guest of honor had woken up. Linda walked over and lifted Sophia carefully into her arms. The baby's cheeks were rosy, her eyes curious, as if she could feel the energy of love surrounding her. Quang leaned in and gently adjusted the tiny crown of flowers resting on her soft hair. "There," he murmured, "our princess is ready." When Linda carried Sophia into the living room, a hush fell over the crowd. Cameras lifted, flashes flickered, and every face softened at the sight of the little bundle of life in her mother's arms. Quang stood proudly beside them, his heart swelling with something beyond words. Not just pride, but gratitude. Gratitude for every sleepless night, every quiet morning, every shared smile that had led to this moment. The guests took turns holding the baby, their laughter spilling into the air like light. An old auntie cooed softly, "She looks just like her mother," and everyone nodded in agreement. Quang laughed and said, "Then I'm in trouble when she grows up. 2 angels under 1 roof." As the sun dipped below the horizon, Golden light poured through the windows, wrapping everything in a soft glow. Linda placed Sophia back in her crib, then turned toward Quang. He was standing by the table, lighting the single candle on a small pink cake that read, "Happy 1 month, Sophia." When their eyes met, something silent and powerful passed between them, the understanding that this, right here, was home. He reached for her hand, his fingers intertwining with hers. "Thank you," he whispered, "for every sacrifice, every smile, every heartbeat that brought us here." Linda's voice trembled with emotion. "No," she said softly. "Thank you, Quang, for never letting go, even when things got hard." Outside, the evening breeze stirred the curtains, carrying the soft laughter of their guests into the night. Inside, Quang wrapped an arm around Linda, pulling her close as Sophia slept peacefully nearby. The world felt still, a quiet universe of love built by two hearts and one tiny miracle. And in that gentle golden silence, their new chapter began.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Lý Tử Ninda Review. Vậy là trong câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay, Quang và Ninda đã tổ chức tiệc đầy tháng cho con gái của họ ngoài đời thực. Đó chính là bé Sophia. Đó một buổi tiệc rất là ấm cúng và hạnh phúc. Mọi tình tiết hấp dẫn về câu chuyện tình yêu Quang và Ninda sẽ còn được kể ở các video tiếp theo. Các bạn hãy bấm vào nút subscribe để đăng ký kênh, nhận được thông báo mới nhất về các tập phim sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh nha. Cảm ơn các bạn đã luôn theo dõi và ủng hộ kênh của bọn mình. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn vào các tập tiếp theo. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.